Okay, we're talking anxiety. We've been talking about anxiety for the last couple of weeks. It's kind of, this is a nutritional program, I understand, but really it's a health program. And there's lots more to good health than just nutrition. Sure, nutrition's important. I love talking about it. I'm a chemist at the end of the day. I love chemistry, and nutrition is important. But when it comes to mental health issues, it's a little different in the sense that there's a real big role that the mind plays, obviously, in mental health. We've talked about non-nutritional strategies for the last few days, deep breathing techniques, submergent therapy, hot tubs, etc. We've talked about mostly non-nutritional therapies for the last few days for reducing jitteriness, insomnia, mania, or just the plain old discomfort that's associated with mental health problems. Today we're going to talk about the relationship of nitrogen, explosive nitrogen. It's technically not explosive, but when it's attached to other things, it becomes explosive. It's incredibly important for life. Plants have an ability to turn nitrogen. I should say bacteria have an ability to turn nitrogen from the air into something plants can use. Plants then turn that nitrogen into protein. We eat the plants, etc. So nitrogen is the key element of the life cycle. Nitric oxide is one of the ways nitrogen shows up in the body. Nitric oxide, as we'll come to find out here, is related to nitrates and nitrites. So don't believe everything that you've heard in the terms of memes, mainstream media memes, belief systems, ideas about nitrates and nitrates. As with everything else, the mainstream media is full of crapola. Well, partially anyway. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll talk about the relationship between probiotics and gut bacteria and anxiety. If you're dealing with anxiety or any mental health issues, these kinds of strategies are very, very important. And please know, you can almost instantly, pretty much instantly, reverse the jitteriness and the insomnia and the mania and the high blood pressure and everything else that's associated with mental and emotional distress. It doesn't take a long time. You don't try to get better mentally. You just do it. Boom, like that. If you're trying, you're not doing it. There's no try, as Yoda says. I hate that word try anyway. I never say the word try. I'll try. What a weasel word. What a cop-out word. I'm trying. I'll try. Don't you always say that when you know that there's a good chance you're not going to be doing something? Oh, I'll try to make it to your party. Oh, I'll try to make it tomorrow night. Isn't that a way of kind of giving yourself an out? It's one thing if you're saying I'll try about making an appointment, but if you're saying I'll try to get better, what is that saying? You actually want an out? You actually want an exit to try to get better? You're not trying. Get better or no? You're doing or no? I think the missing link when it comes to addressing mental health issues is the fact that we have to address the mental part. That's what mental health issues are. They're mind issues, anxiety, depression, mania, bipolar disorder. All these mental health issues are mind issues. It's important that we make this distinction between the mind and the body, between what the ancient Greeks called soma and psyche. Soma for body and psyche for mind, or maybe even soul. If you ever heard the term psychedelic, which has become associated with drugs and hippies in the 1960s, all it really means, psychedelic means to reveal the soul. So you can call the psyche the mind or even the soul, but the key point to remember is that it is distinct, at least in terms of how we work with it. It is distinct from the body. It's not really distinct. It's all mind in a way. But in terms of how we deal with mental health issues, we want to make a distinction between the mind and the body. If you have mental health issues, whether they're as mild, as benign, as minor as anxiety, or as major as depression or suicidal thoughts or psychoses or neuroses, please recognize that it's important to make this distinction between soma and psyche, between body and mind, not just conceptually, not just as an idea, but really, truly, experientially, really feeling it. We got to learn how to move our attention. Think of your attention like one of those lighthouse lights that's kind of scanning the ocean, looking for ships. That's what our attention is. Our attention is it's a thing. It's a commodity. In fact, our attention is actually a form of currency. We pay attention. We spend our attention. And if we don't realize that we're paying attention as if it were money, that we're spending attention as if it were a kind of commodity, something that is precious to us, like money is precious, then we will be much more careful about how we pay it, how we spend our attention. Well, first we have to recognize that it's a commodity. It's currency. And we can pay it and move it and spend it and do things with it. So we want to learn to move our attention in real time and in real life from our psyche, from our mind to our soma. This is key, you guys. This is so important. We want to learn to move our attention from our minds and our thoughts to our sensations, our sensual nature, the sensation in the body. We live in a culture where our minds are glorified. and even deified. And perhaps this is appropriate. The mind is powerful, obviously. But we live too much just in our minds, solely in our minds. We live too much solely in our thoughts at the expense of living in our bodies. This is why we go to doctors, because we don't even feel our bodies. This is why we submit to testing and diagnostics and allergy testing. Classic example. We don't even know when we're feeling an allergy. We don't even know when we're feeling an allergic response. We need to have a doctor test our blood and then tell us based on scores. This is the classic example of defaulting from sensation and from body, from soma, into our mind. We live in our heads, and surprise, surprise, this is where all mental health issues are. They're in our head, including anxiety and depression, and all of it. That's where they all originate. They originate in our heads. Interestingly and fascinatingly, the only thing the body feels apart from the mind is pure sensation. Not pain, even if you think you're in pain. Pain is a description. Pain is a word. The body doesn't know pain. The body just knows pure sensation. Once a word enters, once a label enters, once a description enters, you've gone into mind. Try it. If you're in pain now, you think you're in pain now, try just feeling the pain without a label. It's just a sensation. In a way, it's actually even a pleasurable sensation. Even pain, if you take the description off of it, can even be a pleasurable sensation. Even anxiety, from a body point of view, is nothing more than a sensation, and perhaps even one you like. Not pleasant or unpleasant, because those are descriptions, but just something you like. Pleasant and unpleasant, that's words. And the body doesn't deal with words. The body doesn't deal with descriptions. The body only deals with sensations, and the sensations themselves are pure. Not painful. That's a word. They're pure, and you know what? If you really feel those sensations, even sensations associated with words like anxiety or pain or unpleasantness, you really just feel the sensations without a label, there's a really good chance they may be enjoyable. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're coming back with more good health information on the bright side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back right after this. Okay, so if you've got mental health issues, anxiety, depression, or if you're just the kind of person who thinks all the time, nonstop, you can't seem to slow down your thoughts, do this experiment. And experimentation is very important for everything we're talking about here today. I'm giving you my experience. I'm giving you information that I've gleaned over the last almost 30 years, 32 years of being in the healthcare field, including my days at working for Blistex in the laboratory and as a pharmacy student. I started this whole journey of mine in 1983. Now it's 2015. That's a long time, you guys. I can't even believe it. 32 years. And so I'm telling you stuff that I've learned, but it behooves us all to trust yet verify, as Ronald Reagan said, or as they say in Islam, trust in Allah, but tether your camel. Trust yet verify. Trust in Allah, but tether your camel. I like that. In any case, do an experiment. Move your attention. First of all, notice this thing called attention. Learn to work with attention, then move it back and forth from your mind to your body, from your psyche to your soma, mind to body, and back again. And notice the difference in how you feel. For most people, if your attention is placed solidly in the flesh, the mind will immediately quiet down. How cool is that? If you place your attention solidly in your torso, or in your belly, your abdomen, that's a great place. That's where our power is in our abdomen. In our little toe, in our hand, in our ear, anywhere in your body, or in the body as a whole. Place your attention in your body. For most people, if your attention is placed solidly in the body, you'll notice a sensation of pleasure. And you can do it anytime you want. And every time we talk about deep breathing techniques and immersion therapy, hot tubs, we're really talking about entering into the body. When you take a hot tub and you step into the hot water, your attention immediately goes into your body. Immediately. And what do you say when you step into a hot tub or hot bath? Ah, just like that. And that's your indicator of the parasympathetic activation of the relaxation nervous system, the healing nervous system. And by the way, when that happens, nitric oxide levels go up. You make more nitric oxide. We'll talk about that here in a second. Now, keep in mind, most people are going to feel a pull back up into the mind because it's habit. It's conditioned. So immediately after we are in the body, we'll probably go up into the mind. It's a conditioned habit. But over time, if you keep practicing and persisting, eventually you're going to be able to stay longer and longer in the body. Eventually you'll be able to stay longer and longer in this pleasurable sensation. You'll have to practice. It'll be exercise. It'll be a fun exercise. But the benefits, oh my gosh, the benefits are pure bliss and pure pleasure. And every time you feel that pure bliss and pure pleasure, every time you've entered into the body, you've activated your anti-wrinkle medicine, the best wrinkle cream there is. You've activated your bone-building medicine, the best bone-building medicine there is. Doesn't he have Fosamax? Please. I can't even touch the bone-building, non-toxic, inexpensive, free nature of entering into the body with your attention and activating the parasympathetic nervous system. Try it. Let me know what you think. Shoot me an email, ben@ksco.com. Give it a shot. Let me know. Or try it right now. Give us a call, 844-236-6010. Let us know what you think. All right, I want to return to the subject of nitric oxide. I've gotten a ton of letters. People are mad at me. There's some guy in Santa Cruz who's really mad. He's probably not even listening anymore because I kept talking about nitric oxide and nitrates, et cetera, and I kept saying I was going to talk about it, and I know that, but there's so much to digress on. There's so much good stuff here. Anyway, nitric oxide, why it's important, and later on we're going to talk about how you keep your nitric oxide levels where they need to be. Remember, a lot of degenerative diseases are connected with nitrogen or nitric oxide deficiency. And that includes nitrates and nitrites. Nitrates and nitrites are super, super important. And I know, it's kind of a confusing subject. We've been talking about nitrates and nitrates for the last couple of weeks. We've digressed. I apologize for that. But we're going to be talking about nitrates and nitrates and how to get more of them. Yes, I said more nitrates and more nitrites. How do you like that for in your face, in the medical model's face, in the medical model meme's face, getting more nitrates and nitrites in your diet through correct food choices? These things play an important role. These nitrites and nitrates play an important role in the chemistry of nitric oxide. We started talking about nitric oxide a few weeks ago as it affects inflammation. Nitric oxide is a hormone-like substance. It's a gas hormone. I'm just blown away by the idea of gas hormones. Mists that kind of sprayed out of cells. Mists that are sprayed out of cells that affect large areas of cells to cause a defensive response. The defensive response known as inflammation. Inflammation is a very important part of health. Inflammation is a very important part of health, but it has to be balanced. It's not like inflammation is a problem. It's inflammation that's out of balance that is a problem. It's excess inflammation that's a problem. It's inflammation that occurs chronically that's a problem. This is such an important concept in health, which is ultimately about concepts. Inflammation is an important part of the defense system, and it has to occur correctly. Not too much, not too little, and in balance with anti-inflammation. When the body's attacked by an invader, or it perceives that it's attacked, and that's where the mind comes in. When it's there's some kind of invasion, perceived or real. Invasions could be a splinter, they could be a food toxin, could be sugar. Keep in mind, sugar is a toxin to the body. After a certain amount of it is used, there's a small amount that you need. After that, it is toxic to the body. All of these are going to activate a defensive response. All of these are going to activate nitric oxide. Nitric oxide to the rescue. Nitric oxide is a superhero. Nitric oxide is a superhero chemical. It opens up blood vessels, increases oxygenation, drains away toxins, opens up the lymphatic system, allows white blood cells, that's the immune system, the soldiers of the immune system. Nitric oxide opens up the lymph, allows the soldiers of the immune system to access the invader. It helps drain away toxins and poisons, and that includes sugar. When you eat sugar, you get a bump in nitric oxide. Not making nitric oxide, you use nitric oxide to help drain away the sugar, to help fat cells suck up the glucose. And this should come as no surprise, there's also a relationship between anxiety and nitric oxide. Nitric oxide signals emergency to the brain. When there's an invader, there's an emergency, nitric oxide comes to the rescue, the brain sees the nitric oxide in the blood, and the brain reads that nitric oxide and says, oh my gosh, there must be an emergency, and this is where anxiety comes from. A sense of emergency that can be connected to the explosion of nitric oxide from sugar or from toxins or from invader, etc. All right, we'll continue talking about this when we come back from our break and take your phone calls as well. Try to get on board early, you guys. 844-236-6010. I want to get everybody in. I hate leaving people on hold. 844-236-6010. All right, we're back on the bright side. Pharmacist Ben here. 844-236-6010 is our number. We're talking a little anxiety and nitric oxide. We'll get to probiotics and anxiety here in the coming days. There's a super important relationship between nitric oxide and anxiety. The brain reads nitric oxide levels, and when nitric oxide levels go up, the brain says, emergency, something's going on, and thus the feelings of anxiety, which are kind of a generalized sense of emergency. We'll talk about We'll continue talking about that tomorrow, and then we'll talk about the importance of nitrates and nitrites. Yes, I said the importance of nitrites and nitrates, and why you want to eat nitrates and nitrites, but not just any old nitrates and nitrites, and we'll be talking about that in the coming days on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. Time to hit the phones. Let's go to Texas and welcome Barbara to The Bright Side. Good morning, Barbara. What's going on? What up, Barbara? Hey.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, Barbara. What's up?
Hi. I heard you speak in Austin last week.
Okay. What'd you think?
I'm online. This is my first time on listening to your show.
Okay.
And
how was the talk? Tell me how you like the talk.
It was excellent. It confirmed a lot of things I've been studying on my own.
Good deal. Are you a healthcare professional by any chance?
No, I've just been interested in it for years.
Okay.
Since the 70s, actually. I just read.
Good for you.
And I am a longevity distributor.
Nice.
From having been in Beyond Organic. That's only just found out 2 weeks ago. Okay. So Kim Butler told me to connect with you.
Good deal. Well, I'm sipping on my Suero V right now. Love the Suero V. I did a whole Suero V fast yesterday. I'm going to break it here after the program, and I'm doing sipping on it right now. So how can we help you, Barbara? What's going on?
Okay. I just found out from my dentist, who's a biological dentist, that I need to have a tooth extracted. The molar. I started the Daniel fast 3 days ago, and I also have a friend in longevity who's a colon hydrotherapist who's recommending I do liver coffee cleanse.
Okay.
But the dentist says, "Oh, you're fasting. You have to stop.
You have to stop. You have to stop fasting
pre-surgery."
Why did he say that?
I'm not sure if he knows what a Daniel fast is.
I don't know what it is either, but fasting is definitely something that's a good idea before you have surgery. Absolutely.
Okay. That was my thought on it.
Yeah. You want to have the body as clean as possible, as clean and pure as possible, no inflammatory factors. Now, when you're done with the fast, when you're done with the surgery, you want to make sure you're getting enough nutrition, and you probably want to, before you do your fast, you might want to load up on vitamin C and maybe.
I'm already on the fast, and I loaded up with vitamin C.
Good. I don't know what your dentist.
They do a vitamin C IV drop in this dentist's office.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Sounds like you got a good dentist. Ask him why he doesn't want you to fast. I'd be curious to know what he says.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Kim Butler wants me to connect with you.
Shoot me an email. Shoot me an email with your phone. Put an email with your phone number, and I'll call you back. Put Barbara from Texas.
So much. So I agree with you. I'm going to stay on the fast.
That's my thought. I'd like to know what the dentist is thinking, though. If you could let me know, I'd be curious to know what his mindset is.
I'll see him tomorrow.
Okay, good deal, Barbara. Thanks so much for calling. Thanks for the kind words, too.
Thank you, and I love your mind.
I appreciate that.
And what you're teaching. This is my first time listening, and I will continue.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much, Barbara. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day. Good to talk to you. Thank you. Oh, it's beautiful. I love that. You know, sometimes you do these programs, and I do my presentations. I've been doing it for many, many years, and you don't really know what people are thinking, or what kind of response or what people are, or how they're responding. And so when I get these kind of phone calls, very gratifying. Thank you, Barbara. Appreciate it. All right, Tyler in Tennessee, welcome to The Bright Side. What's up?
This is Ben. Enjoy your show. I've been listening for quite a while.
Thank you.
I'm curious. I just turned 50, and this is an awkward question. What's nutritional equivalent?
Sex. Has to do with sex, right?
The Viagra issue.
I knew it. Always sex when it's awkward. Why are we so uncomfortable about sex? Everybody has sex.
Well, I imagine it's because of the amount of people listening to your show. So.
Well, now they all know. Know.
I haven't researched your archives, and I had time to call in today, and I'm curious what your opinion was.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about erectile dysfunction. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah.
Okay, number one, it's a circulatory issue. Number two, it's a stress issue. Those are two things to look at, the circulatory system and stress, and they're related. When the body is under stress, anxiety, emotional distress, physical distress, and you've activated the stress nervous system, it's not going to let you have sex. Sex is not for, when you're running from a tiger, you're not supposed to have sex. You know, and this is what the emergency response system is designed to do, get you away from a tiger. Now, today, our tigers are the IRS and our dysfunctional families and the government and our bills and our jobs and our bosses and our wives, et cetera, and our husbands. You know, that's what our tigers are. We have modern tigers, but nonetheless, to the body, it's a tiger, and the body's just going to try to get you away from a tiger, and it's going to marshal all of its resources to your legs so you can get the heck out of the situation, and it's going to take it away from your third leg, if you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying here, Tyler? It's not going to let you have sex. And it's not going to let you have a baby either. For women, infertility is a big crisis. You know, and same idea, you know, for ladies who are, and families who are trying to get pregnant, who want to have a baby, if you're under stress, and I'm not talking about psychological stress only, I'm also talking physical stresses, digestive stresses, toxins in the body. All of these will keep the stress nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system active, and you aren't going to be able to have sex. Now, second compounding variable is going to be the circulatory system. Once circulation starts to get clogged, and you guys, and Tyler, listen, I'm going to tell you something very, very important. There's only one cause of disease. It's clogged plumbing. That's it. That's the cause of chronic degenerative diseases or unpleasantness. Clogged plumbing. That means the blood system gets clogged and the lymph gets clogged, and that follows digestive distress and sugar. And also, it's compounded and made worse by low oxygen, poor breathing techniques and stress, emotional or otherwise. So number one, first and foremost, relax the body. Before sex, activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation nervous system. Take a hot bath, breathe, meditate, yoga, massage before sex. You know what I'm saying? Relax the body before sex. If you're activated the anxiety, stress nervous system, you aren't going to be able to have an effective erection. You know what I'm saying here, Tyler, right? So relax the body, number one. Number two, if it's long-term, you're going to need to figure out what's getting into the blood that's affecting the circulatory system, the circulation. Moving the body around by getting on a rebounder can help. Reducing your intake of sugar is very important. If there's any digestive issues, that's important. Deep breathing techniques are going to be important. And then nutritional supplements can be amazingly effective. Vitamin E is one of the most important of all the circulatory vitamins, and it's associated with better sex, by the way. In fact, tocopherol, which is the name for vitamin E, means tocopherol, to carry a baby, to have a baby. Tocopherol means to carry an offspring, carry offspring. It's a fertility vitamin. Vitamin E. Zinc is also super important for the male hormone system and the female, for all hormones. And zinc deficiency, by the way, is extremely common, as is vitamin E deficiency for that matter. 50 milligrams a day of zinc, 400 IU a day of vitamin E. Niacin can be very helpful in addition to the entire B complex. You might want a timed release niacin, 200 milligrams time release a day. Make sure you're sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Omega-3 fats can improve circulation. Make sure you're using your ultimate EFAs. Get on the Healthy Start Pack, and then throw in 50 milligrams a day of zinc, and then throw in 400 IU a day of vitamin E, and then you might want to toss in some magnesium. Well, the Beyond OsteoFX will get you some magnesium. There's niacin, 200 milligrams time release, along with the entire B complex. These are all wonderful strategies for male sexual performance. Arginine, don't forget about arginine. We're going to talk about that here in a couple of days. Super important for the male hormone system and the heart, for that matter, and the circulatory system and blood sugar. I'd be doing about 500 to 1,000 milligrams of arginine a day. All right, thanks for your call, Tyler. Appreciate it. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. All right, we're back on The Bright Side. Tara, what's going on? Tara in North Carolina. How you doing? Good morning.
Hey, Ben. I have 4 questions.
Ooh, I got a bunch of calls here, Tara. Why don't you
I'll
give
do
me
it fast.
Yeah, let's go fast.
Okay, so the one for today I'll do last because I have a feeling you're going to talk about it tomorrow. But, okay, if you have skin tags, moles, and a small cyst,
diabetes.
is that a sign of
insulin,
diabetes?
blood sugar. Yeah, well, not diabetes, full-blown diabetes, but your blood sugar's starting to get whacked out. Anytime cells are growing out of control, the first thing to think about is blood sugar and insulin. Blood sugar / insulin, same idea. And then 2, estrogen. Skin tags usually are associated with blood sugar problems. That's the first thing to think. Okay. What's your next?
Okay, I've been being asked these 2 questions a lot because my husband and I are distributing Tangy Tan, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I know you talked about it a while back, the heavy metals, and why does the Tangy Tan not have a USDA organic sticker? Because everyone's like,
is it organic?
It's organic.
If it's organic, it's going to have a sticker on. I don't know. That's a good question. I was told it was organic, and I haven't even checked to see if it has a U. Well, there's different regulatory agencies for organic. The USDA is one. There's another one called EcoCert, and there's a few different organic certifying bodies. I'm not sure if the USDA. I don't know. I'm going to have to look. Let me look into that for you, Tara, and I'll get you an answer tomorrow or the next day. I'll give Longevity a call. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. And then the heavy metals is heavy
metals. Well, what's a heavy metal, Tara? You tell me. There's no such thing as a heavy metal. It's a marketing word. It's a generic word. What they're talking about is certain forms of certain metals, but there's no definition, classic definition of heavy metal. So what you're talking about is forms of certain metals that are not in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, methyl mercury, for example, that are trivalent chromium. These are metals, forms of certain nutritional elements, or certain elements, I should say, not always nutritional, that are toxic. None of those are in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. There's no toxic metals in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. They're metals, or they're minerals, but they're not heavy metals, and heavy metals isn't even really there's no strict definition for that term. What you really mean is toxic metals, industrially produced metals. There's none of those in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Those plant-derived minerals.
I didn't know how to explain it.
That's how you explain it. And by the way, we had a geologist on, Dr. Andrew Harley, a couple of weeks ago, and maybe I'll have him on again, and he was very clear about the distinction between these toxic metals and plant-derived organic metals. Just think about it this way. Plants have a magical ability to turn rocks into nutritional elements, and the minerals in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine come from plants. And they're on the ingredient deck because they're all derived from plants, hence the term plant-derived minerals. They're not heavy metals. And you have anybody who thinks that there's any heavy metals in anywhere, or even knows what a heavy metal is, call me on the air and we'll have a discussion about that.
Okay. And then you're talking about nitrates and nitrites.
Yes.
How do you get that in your diet?
You have to listen, Tara.
Okay.
I'm going to tease you on that one. I got to move. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a beautiful day, Tara. Shane in North Carolina. What is up, Shane?
Hey, I guess I'll have to call you at a different time for some of my personal things, because it sounds like you got a lot of people waiting. But my main thing, I'm calling about my mother, who's been diagnosed with polymyalgia rheumatica.
Oh, that is the dumbest thing a doctor could. There's a lot of dumb things a doctor could tell you, and that's one of the dumbest. Fibromyalgia is another dumb one. That's like saying she has muscle pain. How dare a boneheaded doctor say to somebody, I'm diagnosing you with pain in your muscles? Mm-hmm. That's what it means.
Now, the question is, okay, now this is really interesting.
Sorry to get mad there. That just ticks me.
When she first decided to go to the doctor, she's not a go-to-the-doctor kind of person, and that's probably why she's still alive at, like, she's well into her 70s.
Probably.
Now, she started having this pain and kind of migraine kind of pains in her head somewhere. Yeah. So she went to the doctor, and get this bonehead put her on 100 milligrams of prednisone. And then she got to the point.
You're just trying to get me mad here. You're just trying to get me mad, Shane. Don't make me mad.
Listen, no, I'm not. But this makes me mad. This is my mother.
Yeah.
And she was losing hair, and she was like, felt like the medicine was hurting her worse than what she had before that.
Right.
100 milligrams.
Yeah, right. 100 milligrams.
She was losing weight, losing hair.
Unbelievable.
And then she decided, you know what, I can't take this. So she went to the doctor, and he was trying to say, oh, you can't just go down on this, you'll die. She's like, oh, that's great to know. I can't stop taking this medicine or I'll die. So she decided to start cutting pills and taking matters into her own hands and praying and, doing everything else too.
Good.
And she basically went back to the doctor and said, hey, guess what? I'm down to this much a day now. And I don't care what you say. I'm going to keep reducing. I'm going to keep breaking up these pills and going off it myself. Finally, she went off it totally. But then she started having the head problems again.
All right.
So she's back on prednisone, but only now 4 milligrams.
Well, let's take care of her. We'll take care of her, right? I'll take care of her as a pharmacist on the radio that you'd never met before. I'm going to tell you right now what to do, okay? First of all, PMR, polymyalgia rheumatica, just means pain in your muscles. It has to do with the circulatory system, an inflammatory condition, period. It's the stupidest diagnosis next to fibromyalgia. They're all stupid. Diagnoses are descriptions. So you go to the doctor with pain in your muscles, and he says, oh, you have polymyalgia. Well, no kidding. That's why I'm here. I don't need you to tell it to me in Latin. That's a...
So is there something she can do to get off
Yes. Listen, my friend. If you have an inflammatory condition, something is getting into the body that shouldn't be getting in, period. Okay? Does that make sense? I'll continue. I just want that to make sense to you. An inflammatory condition is a defensive response. That means something has gotten into the body that shouldn't be. And there's only one way that can happen, unless your mom is shooting up heroin in an alley somewhere, okay? Or unless she's working in a coal mine or she's breathing in fungus and mold somewhere. It has to be food. So focus on food. It's the only way things get into the blood. Listen, all disease is clogged blood. Clogged circulation, I should say. Dirty blood. Clogged lymph. Dirty lymph. all of this comes in from the digestive system. I'm not just sitting here ripping on the foods we eat and how we take care of our digestive system and emphasizing the core of the body and the gut and the intestine because I'm a food Nazi. I'm telling you, because this is where disease begins. Inflammation means you got something getting into the body. The most likely source of entrance into the blood, I should say, the most likely source is through food. So focus on foods. Have her fast, okay? Have her fast if she can. How old is she? Did you say she's 78?
Probably 75. I think she's 75.
Okay. So whatever. If she can fast for a day, immediately the pain will start to relieve itself. If she can't do a complete fast, get her on some Suero V. If you know what that is, it's called Suero V. Go to brightsideben.com or criticalhealthnews.com and order the Suero V. Go to the Beyond Organic. Yeah, I got it right here. I've been sipping on it. I can't even find it now. Suero, Suero, and the last, I think it's V-I-V-E. It's either V-I-V-E or V-I-E. I keep forgetting.
Got it. I'll recognize it.
You'll recognize it. Get her on the Suero V. Have her sip on half a bottle every hour, and go into a day's fasting. I guarantee you, in 1 day fasting, she's going to start to feel better. Now, she can't fast her whole life. She's going to have to start eating, but have her eat. Notice how her body responds after she eats. And I'm telling this to everybody. I'm not just talking to Shane here. This is for all chronic degenerative diseases that involve inflammation, which is pretty much all of them. Focus on foods. Focus on the foods that spike up her pain. You follow what I'm saying? And she'll notice that when she eats certain, especially if she hits the reset button with a day or two of fasting, 2 is even better than 1, she'll notice that she's feeling better, and then when she eats her favorite food, all of a sudden the pain's going to come back. So
now, this is while she's still on the prednisone, though, right?
Yes. You're going to have to wean her off the prednisone with great care. Prednisone shuts down the body's own steroids, and then when you stop the prednisone, you don't have any emergency steroids, and it takes a while for them to build up. So you want to reduce the prednisone slowly. Prednisone is going to disrupt digestion. It's going to make her digestive system worse. So she already has a digestive problem. Dr. Bonehead has made it worse with prednisone. Yep. You follow what I'm saying? Yep. So the prednisone is going to make the digestive problems worse. So fasting becomes really important if she's on prednisone, at least for a day or two. Again, she's going to need to nutriate. I'm not telling her not to ever eat again. But a day or two of hitting the reset button, then reintroduce foods, notice when her pain spike back. Get her on the Biolumin Nightly Essence immediately. That's the probiotics. Probably wouldn't hurt her to start using some digestive enzymes and apple cider vinegar after her meals. There's lots you could do.
Okay, so like some Brags or something?
Not like some Brags. Brags. It's the best.
Brags. Okay.
Yes.
So
Brags.
After what now?
Brags apple cider vinegar, organic, after meals. And she can even do a little bit on an empty stomach, just a little bit, and see what happens. This has some anti-inflammatory properties too. Focus on the gut. That's what I'm telling you here, my friend. Yep. Okay, Shane, God bless you. That's terrible what's happening to your mom. Yeah, they did it to my mom too. I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's why this is personal, you guys. They're doing it to my friends. They're doing it to my mom. They're doing it to people I love and care about. And that's why I do this program. That's why I get a little ticked off sometimes. And I'm sorry to do that. All right, I apologize for leaving you on hold, you guys. I think tomorrow we'll get to our calls a little earlier, and we'll try to squeeze in. The phones are just blowing up here the last couple of weeks. So anyway, I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks so much for listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back at you tomorrow with more good health information. Check out my blog, pharmacistben.com, and join the Brightside Ben team. If you like what you hear on this program, join the Brightside Ben team. I can come out there and help you build your business, do programs for you, presentations for you. Call 866-735-2470. They can tell you all about it. We'll talk to you all later. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Bye for now.